Hey, good evening. It's a wonderful Friday. Hope you're doing well. I just wanted to share a few things with you. Hopefully, they will be very instrumental in your use as you find yourself developing more roots and becoming more grounded in who you are and in what you're about. There's a such thing as having a relationship and having a job and money and things like that. And then there's this great thing of being the person that's having those things. And God isn't a person that don't want you to have a relationship, and He's not a person that's saying don't have a job. But it's who's in the relationship. Are you in the relationship, or is it your divine self or your best self? And your divine self is not a spiritual self or a set apart self or a church self or a religious self. It's it's who you are. It's you. Who is this person that's involved in this rhythm of becoming? Who is this person? Who is this person that's involved in this power? Who is this person that's involved in this decision? Who is this person? God wants to restore. Hey, Mama Joyce, how are you doing? Hello, Cheryl. Hello, Bridget. Hello, Jason. Who is this person that's in the middle of this life? And God wants to restore us to ourselves, not restore what we think we are or a convenient self. And like I said, our core values determine if we want things right or if we want things convenient. Whatever it is that's responsible for our life, it would either we would either want things conveniently or we will want it perfectly. We will want it sound. You know what I'm saying? And your desires are developed or determined by your core values. I say for a minute or so, a few minutes, I'm going to talk about recognition. What is it to recognize something? I wrote something a few days ago. If you want to know what season you're in, look at the person or the situation that you've been divinely connected to. If you want to know what season you're in, look at who you're walking with. Look at who you're walking with, and that will determine the season you're in. It will determine the skills that need to be upgraded. It will determine the mindsets that need to be developed. It will determine the accountability that's necessary. Whoever you are have been drawn to, that's the season you're in. That's the level of upgrade and empowerment and development that you need based on who you've been connected to. But most people have not recognized that. Recognition is not if you see it with your eyes, but if you feel it in your heart. Have you recognized something? Have you felt something in your heart that's giving you an answer? It's called recognition. That determines where your energy is and what you are paying attention to. Whatever you're paying attention to determines the level of recognition that you experience. Some people walk with Jesus but didn't recognize him. They didn't pay attention to things. And sometimes when there's a lot of issues going on in your life, casual issues, it's going to divide your attention and your energy, and you'll be in the right place and don't recognize it because you are in a situation that's requiring a lot of management. It's not allowing you to see where you are. How many of you understand what I'm saying? Just let me know you understand. Some people are not recognizing where they are because their energy is divided. Their energy is divided, it's all over the place, so they're not recognizing or seeing where they are. They're constantly looking for the will of God or what is this or what is that, and they don't know that the season that they're in is based on the person that they're connected to. Most people are not just people, they are seasons. The experience of the person that you've been drawn to is letting you know what you need to do. When you're connected, it was like this when I used to write before he passed away, when I was writing for Miles Monroe, because I knew he had a great influence. Well, it inspired all of us that worked with him because that's the season I was in. And that season required me to come up in my skill. I couldn't bring my convenient mindset, even though Thank you, Mama Joyce. Even though I was good by myself, but I was in the presence of someone with greater significance. So that was letting me know, Andre, this is the season you and Miss B are in. This is the season you're in. And I knew the season based on a correction that he gave me. He wanted me to write an article for one of the leadership magazines. And so they sent word, Dr. Monroe wants you to write this thing. He's going to have this thing come out. He wants your writing in it. So I wrote something. And what I wrote was good, but it was beneath his expertise and experience. It was something that was beneath his desire. He was sending a magazine to all the world, and people who were in high-ranking positions of government, people who served on the Knesset in Jerusalem. He was sending things to the highest level of government in the world, and also in the church world. And I made some statements that was beneath his experience and his conquering. And he corrected me and he said, you are a better writer than this. We're not going to use these terms, Andre, because you are speaking to kings and priests and government officials, and we want the best thing. And so I had to tear it up and I had to write it again. You can't tear up an email, but I had to write it again. And when I sent it back to him, Miles immediately said, that's what I'm talking about, Andre. That's what I'm looking for. Well, he had to I had to recognize, Andre, this is the season you're in. You know the seasons you're in based on the people you are connected to. If you're connected to great people who think on a great level, that's the season you're in. It's saying that you need to upgrade your mind. You don't keep your mind. You need to upgrade your mind. You need to upgrade your skills. You need to upgrade what you feel. This is not the time to be an individual when you are in the place of greatness and significance. When you recognize that you are in a great place, look at the person who's the catalyst of the place. So it's up to you to come up to the level of the person or persons or circumstance that you're in that will bring out a new season. And what we do is we usually maintain our own personality and we usually maintain our own weakness, even though we are in the presence of great people, because we have not recognized that this is the season you're in. This is the new place you're in. How you doing, Derek and Tracy? This is the new place. Derek, you recognize that you are in a great place based on the people you are connected to. Not the people that just came to you, but the people that you went to. There is a drawing when you're in a place with significant people. You've either been summoned by them or you sought to walk with them. And when you seek to walk with great people, you've just forfeited an old weak season that you lived in, and you just connected to a greater season, and you have to come up to the habit. You have to develop the habit of the people who are in the great season. You have to develop the mindset of the people that represent the great season. You have to come up. But usually we maintain our own baggage and we visit people with great seasons and we be with them for a few minutes. And then we return back to our own homeland of weakness and doubt and insecurity. And then we're walking in two places. And you have to walk in one place. How many of you guys understand what I'm saying? You have to recognize it means this is what my energy is paying attention to. When I've recognized it, it means I've been paying attention to the person. I'm paying attention to what the person is doing. I'm paying attention to what is necessary to make this work. You are in the season according to the people you're with. What person am I with? There are people that determine the season for you. Not the season of getting money for a car, season of getting money for a house. You know, we always say, this is my season. This is my season. What did you say? This is my season. I'm going to have everything God said. And everything God said, they think it to be a house, a car, another job. But it's like, no. You recognize the season according to the person you're with. And it means you have to come up to their habit. How many of you are intentionally coming up to the habit of the people who represent that great season? Because your season is determined by who you're with. How many of you or developing the habit of the person that's responsible for that season? How many of you have copied and imitated the mindset and the values? Because you can't copy a mindset until you copy a value. You can't do what a person is doing unless you know why the person is doing it. And you can not only know why the person is doing it until you understand what effect it has on the person that's doing it. And then you have to not only know what effect that it's having on the person, you have to know why it had that effect and what the person exchanged in order to do it. You just don't do it. You just don't hear it and go do it. You have to find out, why am I doing it? What effect is it having on me psychologically doing it? Has it caused me to give up my dysfunction to do it? Is it putting me at odds with other people who see me familiar and see me in a dysfunctional state? Am I afraid to evict myself from people who see me in a dysfunctional state? Am I afraid to grow? Not just go to church a lot and pray a lot, but am I afraid? Am I afraid to be rooted? How has my tolerance been developed as a result of being in this great season? Has my transformational tolerance been increased? In other words, the pain that comes with being rooted, the pain for listening to myself in this season and not considering what you're feeling towards me. Have I overcome the feeling of love that people may love me to weakness, but may not connect to where I'm going in greatness? And we're not talking about what you're doing in church. We're talking about what you're doing in life. Have I recognized that a door has been opened to me? Is there brilliance that's being placed a demand on me every day? Is there a season where the best of me is constantly being required and the BS of me is constantly being unrequired? Is it pushing me to a non-convenient thing where I have to constantly know what's going on? What is it? You know the season you're in according to the people that you're connected to. If you're connected to a smart person or an intelligent, wise person, it means you must come up there. It means whatever you do in your world is not necessary. Like I said, when I worked with Miles Monroe, I recognized I'm with a great man. So my convenient spiritual talk wasn't accepted by Miles. Miles is like, I'm here. And if I've invited you to be with me, you need to leave that old thought over there. Even though my thought was good enough to be invited, even though my mind was great enough for him to say, work with me. He said, if you're going to represent my present thought, you have to leave your old thought alone. You understand? And that comes by how you are corrected. And some of us despise being corrected because we think correction is making us wrong, when correction is only showing us where to look and where to put the majority of our energy. Correction is not saying that you're wrong. It's saying you're putting too much energy in the wrong place. But when we don't like correction, we are thinking the persons are saying we don't know what's going on. So it kills pride. It destroys arrogance because I want to know that I'm on. You know, correction is good. It says you're putting the wrong energy in the wrong place. Put the energy this way. Miles didn't say I was wrong, but he was saying I was putting energy in an insignificant place. And he was saying, put it here, because you're speaking to government officials all over the world. You're not just speaking to churches and old churches down the street with a broken guitar string and a messed up amplifier. He's saying you are speaking to the Knesset. You are speaking to every place I speak at, and I want you to have a certain language to speak to where I speak. See, that lets you know if you are a disciple or someone riding the coattail of someone. If you're riding the coattail of someone, you're merely wanting recognition for the person you're walking with. You'll want to be seen as significant simply by walking with another person. But when you are a disciple, you borrow and invest in the mindset of the great season that you're in order for the door to open. How many of you understand what I'm saying? So he was letting me know, dude, I'm talking to these people. They don't listen to that. This government official, the Knesset, these the parliament, they don't listen to that language, Undrai. They listen to this language. And he represented the season I was to come up to. How do you know what season you're supposed to come up to? How do you know the season you're in? How do you know? Look at who you're connected to. Look at the skill